Going to start the meeting.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Whatever time zone you happen to be in, welcome to Leaders Worldwide Online Toastmasters Club. Our club mission, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leaders Worldwide is designed for politicians, business leaders, nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, as well as anyone who wants to make their message heartfelt and authentic. Core values, integrity, respect, service, and excellence. We are Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters. The leaders are made.
And let's welcome our past president and current division director, Cynthia Stott.
Thank you, Alex. I'm so excited for our meeting. We've got three amazing speakers. Well, hopefully, we're at least two, if not three speakers today. And we're in need of a timer. So if our guest, if you're willing to be a timer, AK, I think his name was?
JK.
JK, would you be willing to be our timer? If not, I can do it.
Sure, definitely.
You
Yeah,
can? Okay.
uh, I, I'll connect with my laptop because then I have the cards. I'll reconnect it.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
okay. Give me
Appreciate
1 minute, please.
that.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Teamwork makes the dream work. And we are all about team. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to our Toastmaster of the day, Area Director DeMarie Shy King.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club meeting for February 12th. Our theme for this meeting is Walk a Mile in My Shoes. Now, I'm going to explain during the course of this meeting that we're not discussing the literal meaning, which would mean if your foot happens to be the same size as mine, you could actually put that shoe on and walk in it. But if it were not, you would have some difficulties. But we're going to be looking at the metaphorical meaning for walk a mile in my shoes. And what that says is equity and inclusion. Because this month is Black History Month, something that was set up by Carter G. Woodson back in 1926. And then in 1976, it changed from Black History Week to Black History Month. But walking a mile in my shoes, meaning don't judge someone until you have walked a mile in their shoes. Everyone should have a stake in the game that is being played. Everyone should be included. Equity and inclusion. You can better understand another person's experience when you get to really know that person through a sense of compassion and concern. And all of this will come with common interest, the brotherhood of man, or our common humanity. Having said all that, I would like to introduce my functionaries, and the first one is Sally Reyes. She's going to be our grammarian, and she's going to give us the word of the day. Sally, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. I think this is a wonderful choice of words, empathy. The ability to understand and share the feelings of others. A great stamp for us to live by. I will be listening to your speeches, to the special words you use, the special intentions, and make notes and bring it to your attention to see what we can celebrate. And if there's any ands, ahs, buts, so's, and so forth, we'll make note of that. And we're getting really much better about using those favorite words. So thank you. And we'll see you at the other side.
Thank you so much for that explanation. And I can tell that you always express so much empathy as you attempt to keep us on the right path. And next we will have our timer. I don't know if he's set up yet.
He's coming in right now.
Okay, great. He's right on time. But I will go ahead and explain what he will be doing. For our prepared speakers, JK will show the green at 5 minutes. And he will show the yellow at 6 minutes and the red at 7 minutes. And when you see the red color, you will have 30 seconds in which to wind up your presentation. So are we on point, JK?
You there, JK?
Yeah, just 1 minute, please. I'm just
Thank
got it.
you.
Yeah, you're just getting everything set up. Okay.
Okay, that's great. So our first speaker will be evaluated by Teresa Cherry. So Teresa, do you have the information for his speech?
I do. Shall I
Okay.
introduce him now?
Yes, please.
Beautiful. Alec Balish is working on his effective coaching path. And this particular project has to do with an introduction to vocal variety. The speech is called Why is 1% So Hard to Change? Alex is a business owner and podcast content creator. He owns Care First Training Group, LLC, where he has been using his 30 years of experience to teach people how to save a life in the field of first aid, CPR, and AID. Alec possesses a strong understanding of his customers' needs and how they most effectively learn these life-saving techniques. In addition, he has been podcasting for many years on TV shows, as well as with his 9-year-old daughter, where he co-hosts with her on a book review podcast. So a very busy gentleman. And now his presentation, Why is 1% So Hard to Change? Alec Balish, why is 1% so hard to change?
Doing 2 roles here, so forgive me.
And he multitasks.
Yeah, we have to do all that kind of stuff sometimes. JK, could you please raise your hand? Put your hand up in the reactions so that you're there before we start.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So
It's 5-7 minute speech, and I just need you to.
so as a timer, I have to check the 5 minutes green,
Yes, at 5 minutes green, at 6
yellow
minutes
6
yellow.
minutes, and red 7 minutes.
Yes. And
I'll
if you
raise
can you raise your mechanical hand so you're up in the top corner?
I'll
On the
raise
dashboard, it says
I'll
reaction.
raise the card. Choose
Thank you.
this one.
Yeah, no. What she needs you to do, you can take the card down. Just put that at the certain time. There on the bottom of the Zoom, there's a thing called reactions. In the reactions, it says raise your hand
And leave it raised.
and just leave it raised so that we know where you are. That's all.
Okay, no need a green card, green yellow
Not
card.
yet, not yet. I haven't started.
Okay.
That's why. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let me just get my speech up so we can actually do this.
So when he starts speaking, JK, then you will start timing him, okay?
Okay.
I want you to think about New Year's Eve in New York City. It's cold. The ball is ready to drop. People are just not feeling warm. But they're feeling very hopeful and cheery. And it's filled with a sense of excitement. And then right before the strike of midnight, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year. And you find yourself texting your favorite people, calling your husband, your wife. In my wife's land of Scotland, they take the pots and pans and go to get all the bad stuff away. Anything is possible. And this year is going to be the year that everything is going to happen. But then you wake up and you have the hangover or the grogginess. What did I do? Why did I have that extra drink? What channel is the Rose Bowl on? All these things go through your mind. Madam Toastmaster, fellow guests, and everyone else throughout the world. How much does 1% really mean? Like, can you put it into a bag or put it on a shelf? Or does it fit in a hard drive on your computer? I don't know. But today I stand before you and I want to answer some of that question. I want to look for some change because in my life, I'm at my wit's end with the New Year's resolution. That's right. Before we dive into all my personal struggles, let's look at the dreaded New Year's resolution. Now, for most of us, we all know January is the month of new beginnings. You know, it's sponsored by Starbucks, Decaf Slim Grande Latte, or I'll have water with that, or, you know, we just need to have dressing on the side right now. With a show of hands, how many of you have ever had a New Year's resolution or thought about a New Year's resolution? Heck, you know somebody that's had a New Year's resolution. New Year's resolutions take a form of all different shapes and sizes. This year, I am going to make that change and I'm going to stick with it. And yet, a couple of weeks down the road, you find yourself struggling. That little voice in your head said, see, told you so, because you couldn't keep it. But the allure of that new year and that New Year resolution is like the light at the end of the tunnel. But sometimes people forget to tell you it could be a train. For me, one of the challenges is to shed some weight and to be healthier, to adopt that healthier lifestyle. I want to achieve to get my black belt. I'm a blue belt right now, so I need to go through red stripe, brown stripe, and then eventually black. And to achieve that goal, I'm thinking it's going to be something like one of those reality shows. So I sought out the best place I could do, the University of YouTube. And I found some quick solutions and I found some not quick solutions. But then I found this really great book. It's called Atomic Habits. And the author, James Cleary, says, if you can just do 1% better every day for a year, you will be 37 times better than you were if you didn't do anything. Okay, I can do that. How hard is 1%? What do? Not eat as much sugar, eat smaller amounts. Heck, I won't even notice it. Maybe I'll just do a couple extra push-ups and sit-ups. And initially, everything is great. But the problem is life sets in. And it's like a roller coaster that goes back and forth. And the problem with roller coasters are, I'm afraid of heights. And when those things go up, you know, it goes click, 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 click. When it comes back down, not so good. Now, for me, My daughter is a Girl Scout, and we have Girl Scout season, and she wants to sell over 1,200 boxes.
Yeah.
And Girl Scout season is like a tornado. You're like Alice in the basement holding on for dear life. And the thing of it is, I'm in the eye of the storm because I literally have a wall of cookies in my house, just tempting me, saying, Alex, eat me, eat me, eat me. And I'll work out, and it's like they call to you. You deserve it. And I found myself struggling. And I wanted to go from something to something better. So when I saw James Cleary and his book, I saw that he talked about the British cycling team, and they went from zeros to heroes. And they did that not overnight, but by marginal gains, because they tried to adopt this 1%. They looked at everything from the way they tie their shoes to the way they sleep, the bicycle seats to everything. And what they found was your mindset is part of the change. And you have to look at instant gratification versus long-term goals. Am I eating that cookie? Is that going to help me as towards my long-term goals? Am I tying my shoes right? If it's not, then it could rub on my feet. I could get a blister. It's not going towards my long-term goals. We as a society know that it's hard to break a habit. And if you try 1% more, you've got a better shot. The other thing is we have to look at our social environment. And that social environment is tough because it's our friends and our family. So as I do this, like a drop of water trying to carve through a rock, I realize that this isn't that easy. Because that 1%, as we get better and we start changing, it keeps moving like a moving target. Because once you get to here, you need to get that 1% to here. And it keeps growing and growing until you are exactly where you want to be. So folks, whether you have the willpower is great, but I challenge you. We all say, like Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of our greatest presidents, who was in a wheelchair and managed to govern the whole country, all we have to do is fear itself. And let's all try to be a little bit more consistent and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Alex. JK, can you give us 1 minute on the timer and let us know when that 1 minute is up, please? And this is the time for the judges and anyone else to send their comments to Alex in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 minute for questions, please.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
In keeping with our theme for today, walk a mile in my shoes, think about this. Before you criticize or pass judgment on someone else, if you walk a mile in their shoes, put yourself in their place, and just imagine a solution to the problem. By doing so, you can show compassion, empathy, genuine concern for the well-being of that individual, and we're following the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And of all the things we can do, empathy rates so high on that list of things, because when you can feel and share in the plight of someone else, you are being so very empathetic. And our next speaker will be Teresa Cherry. And her evaluator will be Alex Baelish. Do you have the introduction information on Teresa?
I have everything I think I need.
Absolutely. The floor is yours.
All right. So Teresa H. Cherry is doing the pathway of connecting with a storyteller, level 3. Her speech title is My 30-Month Pregnancy. Teresa is usually a do-it-yourselfer, oh wait, I'm sorry, I just freaked out there. However, we all experience challenges that make finding an appropriate resource necessary. Sometimes the help we need comes from completely unlikely sources. Here is Teresa's story that taught her that do-it-yourself works fine until it doesn't. It's Teresa Cherry, My 30-Month Pregnancy. The floor is yours.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that very kind introduction. Some time ago, I found myself in my doctor's waiting room and wondering, why are these places so sterile and a little bit depressing? Across from me were sitting two obviously pregnant women who were happily discussing, have you chosen a name yet? When are you due? Then the conversation deteriorated to, I can't wait to deliver this baby. My feet are swollen. I feel so fat and ugly. And I swear the baby keeps kicking and kicking and kicking. I've got a linebacker, I am sure. Well, just when I was about to lose my own composure, my name was called and I entered the doctor's office. When Dr. Morris entered the room with the happy, how are we doing? The dam broke. Tears welled up in my eyes. Quite frankly, I think I started blubbering. All the frustration, all the striving of the last few months just came to a head. And I dumped on the poor doctor. I shared my experiences of the last few months. You see, I was pushing 30. And with a new house in the suburbs and 5 years of marriage behind me, my husband and I had decided we were going to take the next predetermined step in our existence. But children, it was time. We lived in a neighborhood full of little darlings, and all our friends were either pregnant or already had children. So it was our time. We had been implementing the do-it-yourself method for quite some time and very enjoyably. But this time we approached it with purpose. I started taking prenatal vitamins. We started timing my cycles so we would have relations just at the right time. Nothing. I started a shoulder stand after coitus just to make sure that gravity would participate in our efforts. Nothing. My husband grudgingly switched from boxers to briefs because I found out that that should raise his sperm count. Nothing. Okay, we sought medical advice. And after a battery of tests, we're told that our chances of conceiving were pretty slim. We were truly crushed. But then at a neighborhood party, one of our neighbors said, relax, how do you expect to conceive with all this stress and pressure? If either make up your minds you're not going to have children or adopt. That happened to my brother, and now he's got three strong sons. One's adopted and two of their own. Great idea. We knew that there were many children who needed nurturing and loving homes for whatever reason. So we sought the services of an adoption agency. Well, that was not what we had expected. The social workers and consultants, counselors at the agency had no empathy for our plight. The application process was humiliating, invasive, and quite frankly, manipulative. We were told heart-wrenching stories of children in need. Those were the days of crack babies and older handicapped children. But we knew our own limitations as to what we could take on. So sadly, after a lot of meetings after meetings, we never went back. Dr. Morris listened very empathetically and as well as kindly, and then said, you know, every once in a while I become aware of a situation where the parents cannot keep the child. And then we arrange for a private adoption. Private adoption, I never even knew that existed. He said he would keep us in mind. So hope sprang eternal again, but we were skeptical because we'd been burned. So after some time, we got the call. A child would probably become available in about 2 months. The call was not from Dr. Morris, but from Mr. Morris, his brother, who just happened to be an attorney. So we waited 2 months, which seemed like an eternity. Then we heard the mother was in the hospital in delivery. We waited. She delivered a healthy baby girl. Wonderful. Oh, joy of joys. Can we pick up the baby now? Nope, had to wait. The birth mother had 3 days in which to consider her decision to waive her parental rights. So we waited and prayed a bit. 3 days passed. She waived her rights, and we picked up our beautiful baby girl. Joy of joys. But wait, she wasn't ours officially yet. We had to have visits from DCFS, that's the Department of Child and Family Services. We had to go to court, and then we had to wait. Finally, after 6 months, we got that precious birth certificate. Krista was truly ours. Our family was complete. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Teresa. JK, can we have 1 minute on the clock, please? And let me know when that minute is up.
Sure, please. Yes, 1 minute for questions. Yeah, please. Yes, stop. Okay. Yes, please.
Your minute's up.
Yes, sir.
Hillary. Yep.
Thank you. Wow. I have to use Teresa as my next example of walking a mile in someone's shoes. It would be very hard for anyone to imagine the journey of a pregnant woman unless you were pregnant yourself. You can express empathy because you see her condition, but you cannot know what it feels like. You cannot walk a mile in her shoes. But when there is a situation where you can put yourself in the other person's place and try and understand the plight that they are going through, you can walk a mile in that person's shoes. And when you do that, what you are doing, you are remembering that there is something called equity and inclusion. Everybody has a chance and a right to be a part of the greater, larger picture of humanity. So let's walk a mile so that we can better understand what the other person has really gone through and get to know that individual on a deeper level and express compassion and empathy because you really are genuinely concerned. And when we do that, we can buy into that old adage, love your neighbor as yourself. The next portion of our meeting is going to entail table topics. And JK, for the purpose of table topics, when the speaker starts to speak, they will have 1 minute and the green will show. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, the yellow color will show. And at 2 minutes, the red color will show.
Sure.
And as you know, you will have 30 seconds in which to complete your presentation. Now, this is intended to be fun, so let's just keep it light. It's not heavy. I'm not trying to do anything.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I pressed the wrong one. I meant to do this. Here, sorry.
I was trying to figure out where we were going, okay?
How about that, huh?
Nice.
That looks great. Table topics, question, extemporaneous, impromptu speaking. My first question is, what is one way you can show compassion for another human being? Do we have a volunteer? I will volunteer. Sally Reyes. What is one way that you can show compassion for another human being? The floor is yours.
Thank you. One way to show compassion for another human being. To walk in their shoes, to imagine their own history of how it is to get the results they want in their life. I have often had to transform my house and make it better because it leaked, and that was a challenge of years to restore a 1927 house to something that operated in the 20th or 21st or 23rd century. So it takes some empathy. And I hired some young people, men who were from Vietnam to help me restore this house to its hopefully operating procedures. As I did that, I fell in love with people from another country, another form of politeness, another form of men and women and how they react together. It was wonderful. And as they restored everything, new windows, new everything, I also learned about their country and many children who had no parents and lost sight of how they were going to survive. And I asked the gentleman if I could adopt and take care of some of these children who lost their parents. So I know what it feels like to have empathy and see successful people achieve their goals, but teach others and support them with the basics so they could achieve their goals. And this happened, I went on for at least, I think, 11 years. And I took care of these kids who had one parent, and they were able to stay alive, go to school, and succeed with their own future. And that, to me, is the best part of empathy I can share. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for that, Sally. Absolutely wonderful. One way that she was walking in someone else's shoes and expressing kindness to another human being. My second question is, what does equity and inclusion mean to you? Do we have a volunteer? Cynthia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dee Marie, Madam TMOD and Toastmaster and Table Topics Master for today. Equity inclusion. I didn't even know those words when I first felt it. I was 8 years old. I was riding in the back of my dad's Buick Electra Limited. Big, 4 people could fit in across the back seat. And we were driving home from church. I can remember exactly where we were. And my parents were talking away, and my dad said, "He's a radical, blah, 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 blah." And I said, "Daddy, what does a radical mean?" And he said, "Someone who wants to change things." And I said, "Isn't that a good thing?" And he shot me a look in his rearview mirror that if he was Superman, it would have pierced me through the heart. And I knew he didn't approve, but I also knew that I approved. So I have been a rebel since I was 8, had empathy and desire to change things so that everyone could be included and everyone could be equal. And I went to my sister's house who moved to Visalia. And in those days, Visalia, California was a small town. Everyone looked like they came out of the people machine. And I said, "Where are all the people? They all look the same. They look like they came from a machine." And I knew I loved and appreciated my equity and diversity that I experience on a daily basis in San Francisco, and that I have empathy with people who don't feel that they belong. And I want to include everyone and make them feel that they belong. So my answer is equity inclusion means that you make everyone feel welcome and everyone feel as if they belong. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much for that response, Cynthia. Equity and inclusion. So my next question starts out, I know the pain of feeling different because. I know the pain of feeling different because. Who would like to finish that? So I will call on Alex.
Okay. Let me replace this. When it comes to feeling different, it's kind of an interesting thing. I never really felt very different growing up until the bombing in Beirut when I was a kid in the late 80s or middle 80s. Reason I bring that up is I'm Syrian and Lebanese and born in this country, 4th generation, the works. But that was the first time I really saw my parents get worried. Now, again, this is before social media. This is before a lot of this other stuff that we had. We were the only Middle Eastern people we knew. And I didn't even really consider myself Middle Eastern just because I just grew up the way I grew up. And when the Marines got bombed, there was a very anti-Arab sentiment. And, you know, my dad was just very concerned that people may look at us a different way. So, not that we did really anything different, but it just kind of resonates with me. And you wonder what could have been. And now you look at all the craziness that goes on in the world today, where we're such a smaller world because of technology, and people are seeing things like they see in Israel. And there's a lack of empathy for both sides, because I really do believe both sides are right and both sides are wrong. So that was the first time that I really kind of experienced that. Back to you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that response, Alex. This is a clear example of walking a mile in someone else's shoes. Until you know that person and get to know the individual, you can't possibly imagine what that feels like. And I see Cassandra has raised her hand for the next question. Great.
No, can I just piggyback off of Alex's question, answer to that? I just want to say that I'm planning a trip to Dubai and the end of 2024. And I was checking out air flight fares. And so I called up Turkish Airlines and I called up Emirates Airlines to get pricing. And so I don't know if people are familiar with the Armenians and the Turkish fight that they've had for centuries. And so when I called up Turkish Airlines, the guy asked me at the reservation, he asked me what was my name. I gave him, first we had talked about the fares and so forth. And so he asked me my name at the end. And so I said, Cassandra Garabidian. And he gave out this big sigh that told me that I did not need to this day, here it is, 2024, that I did not need to fly with him. Now, here I am, a Black woman. Now, he didn't know I was Black, but it told me that I did not have any business booking a flight on Turkish Airlines to this day. That I knew that something would happen to me if I put my butt on that plane. Going to Dubai, the Middle East, it was too risky to get on that flight to this day. So, Alex, I hear you to what you're saying, that it's just to this day, people have this thing going on to whereas right now it's still unsafe. Back to you. Thanks for letting me just piggyback on that. And I'll take the next question if we have time.
You were timed by JK, so we gave you that as a question. That's great, JK. He is doing an excellent job. Let's just give him a round of applause. He's doing an excellent job as our timer for someone who just stepped in and said, I'll do that. So he decided to walk a mile in our shoes and help us, and I appreciate it. My last question is, why is Black history actually everyone's history? Why is Black history actually everyone's history? And the only person left is Teresa.
Oh, goody.
The mic is yours, Teresa.
This might be somewhat controversial because I believe I'm somewhat taken aback by much of the rhetoric that is so common these days about, well, yay, woman power, Yay, Black Power. Yay. We're so wonderful because we are of a quote unquote minority, although and you know, the thing that bothers me the most is that there is a real movement towards people seeking reparations for things that happened 100 years ago. And I've got news for you people. No matter what your ethnic or religious background is, we've all been slaves at some time. And we need to empathize with the angst and the repression that is experienced, but to learn from it and to make ourselves stronger and less judgmental. And I know this is something of a judgmental rant towards other people. Just saying. Thanks.
Lisa, thank you so very much for that. Isn't it amazing how until you step off into someone else's shoes, you have no idea where that path is going to lead? Walk a mile in my shoes and hear what I have to say. Understand what I consider to be my source of empathy, my degree of compassion, and what it stems from. Thank you so much for allowing me to handle our table topics questions today. And I will now turn the meeting over to our general evaluator who will call forth the functionaries and the evaluators for today's meeting.
Excuse me, do you think we could have we have a little extra time? Do you think we could have our guest answer a table topic? I will time for him.
JK, would you like to answer a table topics question?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Yeah, please.
Okay, I will time for you. Go ahead.
JK. Now, if you need me to repeat the question, I'll be glad to do that. Don't
Yeah,
start
please.
speaking until you fully understand what I'm saying, okay? Is there a time in your life when you have said, if I could just walk a mile in that person's shoes? And when you said that, what did you mean? Was there a time in your life when you said, if I could walk a mile in that person's shoes? And if you said that, what did you mean? The floor is yours.
When I got my first interview, at my first interview, uh, the interviewer asked many questions, and I have given it completely, and I was sure that I was being selected. But later, when I got the result, I came to know that the candidate selected was known to him, and he's being partial. So I thought that if I were as its shoes, as its thinking, I will definitely select the right candidate who is best for the that place, so that the company, it will be beneficial for the company and for the future of the company. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that response. So
Sorry, I could not check the time. Sorry.
Cynthia was timing you.
You're over time because you didn't time yourself.
You didn't hit the green. You have some more time if you want to finish.
Okay, no. Good.
Cynthia was timing you, JK. I want to thank you for that. We sort of threw you under the bus, but you did come through and you responded. And what you said was equity and inclusion is important because you should look for the best qualified person and not someone that you know just because he or she might be a friend of yours. That is another form of walking in someone else's shoes and trying to make sure that the best person is given the benefit of the doubt. And now we're back to Cassandra Garabedian as our general evaluator. You have the floor.
Thank you for that. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're audible.
We come to this part of the meeting where we conduct the evaluation section by inviting the timer and to the podium. So timer, can you please come to the podium and
He's there.
explain the timing colors for the evaluators, please?
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Toastmasters. So the timer for first is 7.19, first speaker. The second speaker was 7.30 minutes.
Excuse me, JK.
Yeah.
Cassandra, you might need to explain to him what the timing will be and let him know that you're doing the evaluation portion.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So for the evaluation portion,
Okay. As a timer, I will time the speaker, the first three speakers for 5 minutes for
No,
5
we're
minutes.
going
I'll give the green card.
JK.
no,
Yeah.
they're going to give their evaluation of the speakers at this time. So they're going to give like a 1 to 2 minute
Okay, 1 to 2
evaluation. So
evaluation. I got it.
the
Okay,
timing,
thank
you're
you.
going to give a breakdown of the timing.
Okay, fine.
2 to 3. Yeah.
2 to 3.
Okay.
Please tell
1,
him
2, 3.
what the breakdown is so he will know.
So are you familiar with the breakdown?
Mm-mm.
No. So at 3 minutes.
2 minutes. At 2 minutes, it will be green. At
2
2 and a
minutes.
half, yes, at 2.5 yellow,
And at
and at 3 minutes red.
red.
And then they have
you
30
have 30
seconds
minutes,
to
30
finish.
seconds to wrap up.
And that's going to be the next two speakers. They will be evaluators, okay?
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you, JK.
Do you need us to go back over it? Are you good?
JK, do you know what the cards are?
Yeah, I know. So
Okay.
evaluation. Yeah. Please go.
It's 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and then 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we're going to do the evaluations between.
Okay, so the first evaluator. You have the podium. Go for it.
Wonderful. Okay, great. I am evaluating Alex's superb speech. Thank you so very much for your presentation. I found the speech extremely well organized. I loved how you hooked us in with a description of the New Year's Eve celebration or New Year's celebration in Times Square, which is known for a long time, or like on everybody's radar, and how you, after recovering from your headache the morning after, decided that you really needed to work on your health and wellness, and were challenged with it because of the pressures around you. I loved the term you used, University of YouTube. That was very cool. And using the Atomics Habit book as part of your guide. And also you called us all into ways to improve and work on our own resolutions, not so much with discipline as with mindset and dealing with your social environment. I love the story about the Girl Scouts and the mountain of cookies that were calling to you. All in all, your the purpose of this project was to use vocal variety, and you did that in an exemplary manner, as well as using gestures and facial expressions to carry us through your presentation. As I said, very well organized, and really all the attributes of a beautifully professionally delivered speech. All in all, let's see, something you could work on might be a better transition to in a little more detail about those cookies and the Girl Scouts. Actually, you may have even been able to abbreviate that section if you wanted to do more in the things that your audience could do. I loved when you also called on audience participation with a question to the group in general. And perhaps you could do that towards the end of your speech as well, to give us all motivation to follow you in your pursuit as we engage in our resolutions, New Year's resolutions ourselves. So thank you very much for a great presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Teresa. It's an excellent evaluation. And now for evaluator number 2, Alex, you may take the podium.
All right. Well, I loved you. In terms of storytelling, it couldn't get any better. You know how to tell a story. It's your life. You know where you're going. I think that there was a lot of things that resonated with me just because we went through that process as well. It was a well-organized speech. You could tell it was a tough speech to give. I don't know how many times you've given it before, but you had a couple of, for lack of a better term, pregnant pauses, to coin a phrase. But and I can totally understand why, because it's your life, and talking about your life is not easy. And I say this because when you're speaking, I saw you kind of keep looking to our left, your right on your notes. And it's a nitpicky thing. But what I would do is either get a teleprompter that you can put it on your screen, do something where you're looking at the camera all the time. And I'm only saying this not because I'm being a real nitpicker, because I think this could be a great speech that people need to hear. And I don't say that lightly. This is a speech that unfortunately many people have to go through. And I think that you could give this publicly on a lot of fronts. You might consider standing if you're not standing. I couldn't tell because of the way your chair is. I think I love movement, and something that I've always have been taught is you take the frame, whether it's your podium or whether it's the Zoom, and this is your frame. You can go side to side and move the audience. And you are doing some of that, but I think it could be even better if you really practiced it. And I think that could make it even more emotional. Your vocal variety, you had points where it was perfect. You had points where you brought us up, you brought us down. There was a little humor in there, because if you don't laugh about this stuff, you're not going to wake up in the morning. And I think that, you really kind of brought us to that roller coaster journey. And I'm really thankful that I got to evaluate it. All in all, I think with the little things that you need to improve upon, I think it could be a speech that you could take very much out of Toastmasters into the public. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you for that report, Alex. And now I'd like to call upon the grammarian for the grammarian to give the reports, please.
Thank you, Cassandra. This was fun. Some people had more fun with that word than others because Dee Marie, I think she almost got to 10 words. She loves to use her words until they're drilled into our and her head to use them again and again. And that's what I love about words. I love the word from Cynthia, radical diversity. That's quite stunning. Let's see, Cassandra 1. She used the empathy 1, I believe. Teresa 2, Alex 3, and JK 1. And I loved pregnant pauses. Oh, that's juicy. Thank you, guys. The illusion of common humanity. Wow, have we got some speeches laying there. Thank you so much for including such wonderful words and emotions and experiences that we all could share and delight in.
Thank you, Sally. And now, JK, you can give us your timers report.
So timer for two evaluators, Toastmaster Teresa is 3.5 minutes and Toastmaster Alex 2.25 minutes.
And then for the table topics?
Table topic I've already table topic first is DTM Cynthia 2.20 minutes, then 1.46 Toastmaster that Alex, and two table topics. Yeah, this I have done. And then Toastmaster Teresa Cherry 1.9 minutes, and Toastmaster Cassandra is 1.9 minutes. Yes, thank you.
JK, thank you for that report. I'd like to thank all of our functionaries for participating and giving their reports. At this time, I'd like to give you my report of the meeting. Considering that we had two functionaries that did not show up, the meeting came together marvelously. Everyone pulled together. DeMarie, I'd like to thank you for taking on two big roles, and you performed them marvelously. Thank you so much. Cynthia, thank you for stepping in as president. I know that's a role that you love to take on, and you do it so well. Thank you. Let's see, Teresa. We always love for you to show up. Your speeches are always welcome, and you do such a superb job at them. We love hearing you speak. Please show up and take on that role and speak. We love to hear you speak, as well as evaluate. Superb evaluation. Same with you, Alex. Your role as Sergeant at Arms, Zoom Master, as well as this today speaker, evaluator. You're such an asset to the club. All of our members are, and Sally. I'm always, always glad to see you. So I'll be glad when that job is over with at the house, so that I know that you're going to be here all the time. Always a pleasure to see you. To all of our members and guests. JK, you're welcome back anytime. I thank you for taking on the role. Thank you. Appreciate it. if there's anything else, any notifications, anything that we need to say in closing,
I
Oh,
don't believe.
just hand it back to our Toastmaster.
do you want to your area contest? Oops, sorry.
I didn't hear
Whoops.
you.
I just wanted to say thank you to our general evaluator. It has truly been a phenomenal meeting. And at this time, I will turn the meeting over to our founding president, Cynthia Stott.
Great. And I couldn't unmute myself properly. Do you want to announce your area contest? There's a couple area contests and our area contest we can announce. I don't know if you want to
So I
announce.
will announce that Area D3 is having its area contest on February 26th. We are excited about it. We have a world-class Zoom master, and I'm working with him to pull everything into shape. So we're excited. So much is being planned and so much is being done. I think that we have to have all of you there. It's February 26th, which will be the last Monday in February. And the doors will open for the contestants, the winners of the speech and evaluation contest at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then the contest itself will start promptly at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are truly excited. We've gone to a lot of trouble to do the very best that we can to have a professional area contest. And please join us. Thank you, Cynthia.
Welcome. And we're gonna be meeting in the afternoon on the 26th and then California time. And then in the evening will be the D3 area contest. That's not our area, but it's our sister area in Division D. And there's two more Division D contests. One is on the 22nd, also in the evening, and the other one's the 23rd, the next day in the evening. And then our area contest is the very last one possible. It's in March 14th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And it's a Thursday night, so it doesn't interfere with our regular meetings. And that's going to be great. And then 2 weeks later will be our division contest. All the areas will come together and compete together. And that's going to be on March 28th in the evening from 6:30 to 8:30. So lots of contests going on, really exciting. And Alex is our winner of our contest at Leaders Worldwide, and he was practicing his contest speech today. And Teresa gave him some excellent, excellent feedback that he can take with him, nuggets to improve his speech and just keep polishing it. And he's going to be doing lots of speaking between now and then to get his practice in. Excellent, excellent meeting. I just really appreciate everyone being here, and we're kind of early. So great. I'm going to end I'm going to take away some chocolates from our amazing timer and guest, JK. Would you like to tell us what you thought
I
of
think
the
he
meeting?
left. I think
Oh.
I think they both left.